I'm here in Agneash village, which in Victorian times was one of the centres of lead mining on the Isle of Man. Just down there is Laxey, along there are the Agneash Mines, the Agneash Miners' Chapel is just there, and up on the hill is one of the most remarkable mining remains on the island. Follow me. So this is one of the many rivers around here, and this of course is the modern bridge. But in Victorian times, the miners used this extraordinary structure which they built out of Manx stone. It was a really wide bridge that they could take carts across, but now it's completely wrecked and most of it has fallen into the river. One day, even this remaining section is going to fall over, and we'll have to watch that because it might dam the river, and when it bursts, it might cause a flood. This way. So this amazing gully here is Glen Drink. And down there you can see all the spoil that was taken out of the mine. But the building we're going to is just on the hill behind me. This extraordinary building is called Dumble's Wheelhouse. Now, George William Dumble was one of the directors of the mine. He never actually went down a mine. He was one of the bigwigs, though he didn't actually wear a wig, but he did have a very peculiar hairstyle. I'm sure he used curlers. So in this building where I'm standing now was a huge water wheel. The axle rested on the top of these walls and you could see it way down the valley. It was fed by water that came on an aqueduct, and when the water had turned the wheel, it went out through that arch under there. This is the back of the building, and there was a huge aqueduct that came here to bring the water for the original water wheel. And if you look at this old print from the time, you can see the Laxey wheel in the centre, but up on the right, standing proud on the hillside, you can see what was once here, and it was a very striking feature. Well, actually the water wheel didn't last very long, and in the 1870s it was removed and replaced by a turbine. Now, the blades of a turbine are driven by powerful jets of water. It's much more efficient, it's much more compact and much more powerful. So up there was the turbine, but this room was still used for the machinery that it drove. There were rods moving backwards and forwards that went across that gully and down into the mine to bring up the ore and also to help pump the mine dry. The water from the turbine came from an extraordinary structure that's just up the valley. Just as we're walking up here, I must tell you the story of Anne Jane. She was walking home past here with her boyfriend in 1890. They were servants in the nearby farm, and when she got just round here, the ground gave way and she fell down a mine shaft 150 feet. A bit of a shock when you're walking home. Anyway, a rescue party was called and someone went down on a rope and managed to pull her out. She was pretty well unhurt except for a few scratches where some rocks had fallen on her, but it was some walk home. So this extraordinary structure is the cistern that was built in the 1870s when they got rid of the water wheel and they installed the turbine. The water was collected inside here and a large pipe runs underground down to the building. It's beautifully built in Manx stone, and I love the way it's been helped to stay together by this amazing iron band that runs right round. And you can see how wedges have been put in here to pull it all together. It's a fantastic structure. The water for this cistern came from one of the streams up there, and it would have arrived on a wooden trough. You can still see the shape of where the trough would have entered here. The water would pour along and go down into the cistern and fill it. And if you look down there, you can see where some ferns are growing. That's where the pipe started that took the water down to the turbine. So this amazing structure is just one of the reminders of a time when the Isle of Man was one of the most important mining centres in the whole of the British Isles.